So whole cluster is the entire cluster. You know, the guys are out there harvesting and they snip off the cluster and they put it in their bucket and then they put it in a tote and it comes to the winery, and that is a whole cluster. Why I like fermenting with whole cluster is you've basically got teeny little ferments in all of the berries. So if I do 100% whole cluster wine, I haven't destemmed any of it. I haven't separated the grape from the stalk. Because when you separate the grape from the stalk, you've now put a hole in it. And that aqueous solution in the fermenter, whether it's juice or wine, is going to go into that hole and get the rest of the liquid, but not essentially break down the walls of the grape itself. It's not going to get into the skin. And what happens when you don't pull that grape off the stalk, there's no hole. But somehow that solution still manages to get inside, and what is occurring, there's a few things occurring, but what is occurring and what is the benefit, in my opinion, to whole cluster is you've got these naturally occurring enzymes in that vat that are breaking down the skin. They're basically breaking down the cell walls of that outer wall itself, and when they're doing that, these different esters are being released, and these esters are coming across in this perfumed manner. They're rose petals, they're violets, they're carnations, and that's why a lot of whole cluster wines are so effusive of these floral perfumes. It's so fantastic. I'm completely hooked on it, and so I want that aspect to it. The other thing, there's a lot. You've also, so you've got that floral notion. You've also got all these stalks in your fermenter now, and so you're bringing a lot of tannins that would not be there if you destemmed anything into that ferment. And if you were to chew on a stem, it can be very bitter and astringent. And so you'll have, I mean, most fermentations, if you look at it, you're going to have this bell curve, and you're going to start at the ambient temperature with the amount of your sugar, and that sugar is then going to convert through yeast to alcohol, and your temperature is going to go up and then it's going to go down. And the more vigorous your ferment is, the higher your temperature is, and you're going to have this curve. On that downward path of when there's very little sugar left and the temperature is dropping, you're getting closer to dryness. When you've got a whole cluster ferment going on, you're going to come in and it's going to taste awful. I mean, just terrible. A lot of people, they're going to think they've just wrecked the entire vintage for that particular fermenter because it's completely out of whack. But what happens is you got to keep your big boy pants on and just keep waiting. And you might have to wait 2 more weeks, at least 7 or 8 days. And there's a change. There's a shift in these tannins, and basically you're making these longer chained tannins. And as these tannins get longer, they get smoother, they get soft, they get supple, they get round, and then they're beautiful. And so you've got this wine with tremendously graceful structure coupled with this wonderful floral perfume, and it just works. It's gorgeous. It's queen of the grapes. For instance,